Bannerlord can be a brutally hard game. Often you're outnumbered and massive armies march against you. Well, in this new series, we're going to work together, friends. What I want you to do is send me your difficult situations that you're either currently encountering in Bannerlord in your campaign, or something that you've dealt with in the past where you're just unable to solve it. I will do my very best to handle these difficult situations. I will share the results on YouTube, provided they have some kind of educational value for people. We will take on these difficult challenges, do some battlefield analysis, and hopefully help you turn around a very, very difficult battle. So join me on this adventure. Please send me your difficult situations. Have a little patience. I don't know how many there are going to be, but I'm willing to take these challenges on for you fellas as we handle your disasters of war. Yeah, this is it. This is the guy, King Henry. All right, friends, welcome back again to another episode of Tactical Enlightenment. Our YouTube channel is dedicated to all things Bannerlord related. Welcome back again to our Disasters of War series, where we try to help players get through difficult problems. Now, I'll put the email up at some point, but we are going to try to help Henry again. Is this guy King Henry? And he is playing in a modded campaign. We'll talk about that a little bit. We'll look at it briefly here. Let's go ahead and just put the email up on the screen real quick. I'll try to paraphrase. It says, it may not be possible for you to win this because it's now 2,800 versus 500. He's got custom troops and he's not sure if they're the correct layout for this type of defense. He said, I will send you the save game. The battle is only a few minutes from the city. So thanks again for your previous help. So we have downloaded a mod pack to get this custom campaign on. I'm probably not going to do a lot of these. In fact, this may be the only one. We'll see. We'll see how wonky it feels to me. He's got a gigantic hammer. I don't know what that is, a sledgehammer or something, and a gigantic axe. Whole lot of gigantic everything with his gigantic beard. I kind of liked you in vanilla form there, Henry, but I'm not going to poop on your campaign. I appreciate you sending in this campaign. This question / problem for us to deal with here today. But I really do feel like I'm playing, you know, Realm of Thrones or something like that. And this is actually Lannister. This looks like it's Realm of Thrones gear. So I didn't realize that. It's like Realm of Thrones equipment with vanilla Bannerlord. So we'll change a few, pieces of banners here for this first run through. As usual, we'll let the AI run this first one because, of course, we want to set a baseline. What is Henry struggling with here? He's got Savannah. I think that's his wife. We have helped Henry a couple times before, so this is later in the campaign. And I'm kind of glancing at the email here. Savannah's got bow skill, right? So she probably should have a bow, right? That's the kind of situation. You shouldn't give her like 3 melee weapons if she's your only archer companion. And these are his unique troops. So this is the My Little Warband mod. It's a great mod. You can basically make your own troops. He said they might be a little bit overpowered. He's not sure, but they're nowhere near as strong as normal Champs, right? These are tier 5. So I think Henry maybe has a little bit stronger than normal troops here, but not like outrageously slow. I don't know what this tier 6 is. He's got marksmans with him as well. I don't know if he has a tier 6 unit. Well, here you go. He's got a Sturgeon Banner Knight. So we're a little bit in the Twilight Zone here. Like I said, we're not going to do a lot of these episodes. In fact, this episode is going to be a combo episode. We are going to defend Baltakand. This Khuzait force is coming our direction. He said 2,800. I don't see 2,800 yet, so we'll sit in the city and we'll see what approaches us here. And again, this first run, we'll let the AI fight. There's no nobles to call. Nothing really we can do here to help. So we will await this first siege. Now, Baltakand is not a city I've defended, I think, for the channel. So we are going to include this episode in our Castle and City Defense series. I know that seems strange, but the bottom line is defense in Bannerlord is pretty much ubiquitous. It doesn't really matter if you're using mods or not. The AI behavior doesn't change dramatically, and more importantly, this is simply the best way to defend cities, right? Is to stack up troops. And here's another army coming right on time. In fact, it's Manchug, right? So Manchug Khan joins the battle. I'm looking down. It's not 2,800, not unless there's more armies coming. But that's still... Oh, shit. Congratulations, Henry. Dude, your wife is pregnant. You know what? I'm gonna fight this first battle. Here's what we'll do. That's a rare moment, right? Your wife gets pregnant. We want to save that for you, Henry. It's always nice when you have a kid. So what we're gonna do actually is this first battle. I'm gonna set her up with the bow and arrow here, and we are going to fight this first battle. And then what we'll do is come in with the second battle to set a baseline. So I'm fighting this battle a little bit blind here. It's not like it's hard or something like that. Both my eyes are open, but we don't have an idea of what these troops can do. We don't have an idea, of what the layout of the city is. It doesn't really matter too much, though, given the experience we have. And he has good troops, right? He said there's a good garrison here, so I don't think we're going to have a problem. He's got a bunch of marksmen. As long as you have lots of archers, you're going to win most sieges. Now, we're outnumbered, almost 4-1 here, right? So it's a difficult siege in theory, but probably not in practice. We're probably going to smash the shit out of the Khuzait here. Looks like we've got one catapult already. Okay, they got a siege tower. Let's see if more Khuzait forces come. He said 2,800, I'm pretty sure. So he's using normal player damage and normal troop damage, but he's making a few of the settings a little easier on him. Attaboy Henry, he's starting to increase the difficulty. If memory serves me right, he had some of those lower for some of his earlier episodes. I like it, right? Mr. Henry's getting better. It's kind of fun, right? We get repeated episodes with some of these guys. We get to sort of follow their campaign. And of course, if you want to participate in this series, you just got to email me your difficult situation. If it's hard enough, if it sort of meets the standards for the channel, we will include it, right? We will pump out an episode like this that hopefully is helpful to other players, entertaining, and of course, helps you in your save game. Now, this is alarming. He has 30 infantry. So, we're going to have to get creative here, right? That's not a thing. You can't defend with 30 infantry. He's just got heaps of archers. There is such a thing as too many archers here. Now, it'd still be deadly, but the gate is the problem. It's not the walls that are the problem. The walls, the guys will get immolated in unbelievable fashion. In fact, a lot of these look like Khan's guards. So you got a juggernaut army here. We should be able not just to defend here, but destroy the enemy. I'm actually a little bit leery that this is going to be too easy and that I'm wasting my time here. I hate to sound, cocky or something like that. Some guys are like, "Oh, you make it sound so easy." Well, once you've got these tactics down, and of course we have, I was going to say dozens of hard battles. We probably have 200 hard battles in our bag here on the channel. These battles here sort of become run-of-the-mill. Now I'm putting some Khan's guards in our second division, right? We've got to have more archers to plug up the walls, especially if the siege tower makes it, right? Then look at this shit. That's just totally deadly. Those guys have the guys on the walls utterly in their sights. I mean, those guys on the walls, I think we'll stand next to them because they're going to get lit up in extraordinary fashion. And then you have so many archers, you can just fill all of these elevated streets here of this city with Khan's guards and marksmen. I hate to break it to you, the guys that are hoping for a little bit of suspense in this battle. Unless there's something I don't understand here, this battle is not just over, it's way over. In fact, this might be like a 2-minute affair. We are going to immolate everything in sight. Now, I got to adjust the first division still too. We're going to have to experiment with Khan's guards in the square. The third division, there's 9 guys in there. This is not really optimal, but what we can do is we can make this work. It'll still work as long as there's guys in a square. The biggest concept with the squares, you want shields. If you don't have shields, at least make sure they're high-end troops with good armor. A Khan's guard will fight back and they will parry and they will do the best they can. It's good to understand the square, how it works, right? They play defensively. That's the main thing to understand. If you have guys charging at the gate here, it won't work. And of course, when we try with the AI, you'll see that with this powerful army, Henry, I'm still surprised, even with normal tactics, that you can't win. What I mean is like the AI with so many Khan's guards should at least do some serious work here. Although we'll see. That'll be the second of these 2 battles. So this first battle, of course, our archers are going to shred everything in sight. I'll play a little bit with your giant hammered villain here. We've got two catapults. We'll try to destroy the siege tower if we can. And I think, this is I'll be surprised if this is a close battle. We'll put it to you that way. So this guy's got a huge hammer. It's a one-handed hammer, and it swings like across the whole map. I guess it's one or two-handed. That's really interesting. We could shoot some fire catapults over here, but we want to destroy the siege tower, right? Siege tower is coming on the other side over here, so it makes more sense that we go to the other side. Better line of sight to smoke that siege tower. If we can destroy the siege tower here especially, these guys they're in a bad way, right? Out of the way there, dipshit. We got some guy here standing in the way. Figure it out. He's like holding up his shield and vibrating in front of me. Go! Fucking dipshit. Get the fuck out of here. You get like distracted. Plus they can actually get hit by the attempt to shoot something and get in the way. Hurry up, dude. You're in my way here. I'm trying to get that siege tower in sight here. We got dipshit the clown fucking things up in this episode. Alright, we got it in our sights here. The other catapult looks like they've got it dialed in too. Pretty good chance we drop this thing, but you know what? It doesn't matter. Like with this many archers, with this tactic, I'm pretty sure it's going to work. The biggest key is that all of the guys that come up on the wall just get insta-melted. There's going to be the biggest thing to understand with this. And of course, a lot of the guys that visit the channel on a regular basis, they understand this very, very well. Most of them probably aren't watching other than to see what kind of odd characters he's got in his My Little Warband. I say that because everybody makes odd characters for their My Little Warband. He's got like a Banner Knight and some Fiend Champs and stuff like that. I had fun with the My Little Warband mod. We made, you know, a whole bunch of angry looters and peasants and angry housewives and stuff like that. It's a cool mod for enlivening a campaign. But we're going to be able to destroy this just by doing free throw shots here, right? Henry's got some tricep workouts. Three more of these, and that's going to collapse right in front of us, and then we can go down and smash everything at the gate. I think it's got to be almost down. Damn it. Maybe I'm gonna look like a dipshit here. This should do it. Okay, down it goes. All the units fall to the ground. Look at these guys on the wall. I mean, you talk about a firing squad. They might as well just put their shields down. Those shields were of no use. They just melted. And that's what I mean. There's 120 archers or something, 150 maybe, that are dialed in on those guys. You never survive in that. Looks like one of those execution videos that Mr. Chicken Bannerlord did, where he had 1,000 Fiend Champs shoot Monchug in the face. You guys have never seen that. It's amusing. And the same thing over here, right? I could probably go, you know, take care of business with the mistress here. This siege is fucking over already. Nevertheless, we're here. We might as well you know, dance with the dance partner we came with, even if she smells like onions and didn't take a shower. We're still going to swing his mace. I'll tell you, your mace is, you know, it's a little uninspiring. It looks all menacing, and then they block every hit. It kind of clanks. It doesn't even break their shield. I think I'd prefer a sledgehammer, Henry. Find yourself a good old-fashioned Tier 4 sledgehammer. It might be better than this. But I don't know. Maybe it's starting to rip some guys now. It's got good reach, at least. I'm a huge fan of blunt weapons, and not for the extra damage necessarily, but just for the satisfying effect, right? Just thwack, and it trucks guys to the ground. You can see the guys here at the gate completely smoked. They don't have any chance. And of course, this is your job in a keep siege like this, right? If they attack you, just back up, right? Just run to safety. The enemy has 0% chance of getting in here. Now, a little note. If your archers are too close and all of a sudden the enemy starts zerging in to attack your archers, move them back. Right? You don't want your archers drawing enemy attention. You want the enemy focused and confused by your square. Once you have them confused by your square here, you can usually count on an 8-to-1 kill ratio, maybe better. It depends on the quality of your square. It's actually moments like this I like to bring up, you know, the perfect army series we're doing with our perfect 400 army. I still maintain that a perfect Bannerlord army has about 25% units that have a shield, and that is primarily for siege defense, but shields and squares are very valuable in the open field as well. In fact, I think just to make this a little bit more interesting, because you can see what's going on here, 0 chance that they get in here, right? I mean, I could just I could just club everybody I want all day. What I think we'll do here is an experimental secondary defense. I talk about secondary defenses sometimes on the channel. Secondary defenses sometimes are necessary. Sometimes they're because you're being blown out at the gate, right? You make a mistake, all of a sudden there's 400 enemies in the courtyard. How do you save that situation? A secondary defense is the answer. Now, the third reason to do it is that they're sometimes better than the main gate, right? That's literally a thing, and this one looks like it has a great secondary defense. I don't think I've ever tried this before here at this city, so we're going to do this for this episode. Again, this episode is going to be it's going to fall under 2 playlists. We will include this with our Castle and City series defense. Even though we have these irregular units with the My Little Warband, it's still the same concept, right? I mean, he's got Consguards and Marksmen doing most of the work. It's not like we have this Sturgeon Banner Knights blowing up the enemy here. I don't know if he has 20 of them, right? He has very few custom troops here. Got this gigantic thundering axe, though. All right, so I'm leaving the 1st Division and the 6th Division. Probably should mention that anytime you do a secondary defense, if you can afford it, you want to leave some guys to hold the gate for a minute, because all these troops that I'm positioning back here are going to get throttled if we just pull everybody back at the same time. Right? What'll happen, of course, is the enemy will smile and roar and cheer, and they will be hot on your heels, running your guys down, and you won't be able to set up. Your squares will get annihilated before you get them set up. And then, of course, you'll probably lose in a situation where you're like, I followed tactical enlightenment. I got annihilated. Now, you got to make sure that the enemies stall just a little bit, right? These guys are the rear guard. That would be the military term for it. And just like a good rear guard, right, these guys are putting up a fight. Now, they're going to get killed, especially if it takes you a while to get your unit set up. But in this case, I'm going to be able to get all of these guys out of here, right? We can get the 1st and the 6th now pulled back to the rest of these units. Now, we might win this siege if we just F1, F3, right? Just charge out the doors. This siege is already over, but I want to see the effectiveness of this, right? The enemy has lots of troops left. What did they have? 2,000, right? So they're going to have a lot of troops still pouring in. We'll see how effective this is. And if it's close, in other words, if we barely win this siege, then we know that this is not an option for you. But just looking at the makeup of it, it's got these narrow alleyways where the enemy's going to get funneled and then pounded by arrows. There's little areas for our infantry, these little squares to sort of tuck themselves against. And that's another function, both for strategy in battle, but also in this situation, right? Is your squares, if it's not a great square, give it the best square of all, concrete, right? We'll put it against a building or something like that. That way the enemy can't attack a couple of the sides. And you want an opening in between your 2 squares. Sometimes you'll make 3 squares, but I think 2 will be just fine here. I actually have a 3rd Division up there that I'm just kind of borrowing some troops from. And the key is the archers, right? Now I want to move this square over here and cut off their path to our archers. The key, obviously, is our 200 or so archers. You just want to put your squares in a position so that it grabs enemy attention. But, the enemy may sometimes charge through it. That happens, kite with your archers, right? Pull your guys back, and they'll get smoked trying to chase them. Now, this square is ironclad. I might need to thicken up that square over there, but already it looks ironclad, right? We can stick it against this building here just to increase the enemy misery. And just no question. Now, the enemy's sending in little dribs and drabs. I wonder where their main force is. They should have hundreds of troops. I hear them yelling now. Here they come. They're excited to die. Those of you who are about to be smoked, we salute you. And I can just sit here in the square and watch the enemy get melted. I mean, there must be 200 archers just smoking them, right? It's just the death spam fizzes. Some of these are archers running up here, so they have even less chance. They don't even have a shield. Right, so it's a bad result for the enemy here. Of course, just like the gate, your job is to sort of fight around the margins of the battle, but don't drag a bunch of units back to your other troops, right? If you get into trouble, run into your square, right? Physically, my shield helped me there. Physically run into the center of your square, and then, of course, you can command from safety. Or you can go to the other side, right? Once you gain some experience, you can kind of fight around the margins of the square. You'll get 2 or 3 guys you can smash while your squares are doing the rest of the work. And you can see how effective this is. 20 to 1, 30 to 1, maybe a 40 to 1 kill ratio, right? It is smashing the enemy to pieces. We're losing guys. There are guys in the square without shields, right? I mentioned that. That's just, it's going to be less effective, and that's it. Whatever that was, hundreds of Khuzait just instantly melted. I am confident we could have done this whole defense from where we were there, right? We could have just sat in that secondary defense, just gave up the walls entirely, and still won this siege. So, there you have it, right? The easy siege defense of Balticon. I will say this is a top 2 or top 3 city for Khuzait. Odok is good, but this is one of the best. I mean, that was phenomenally easy. And the old, 15-to-1 kill ratio. All right, let's get you some prisoners here, Henry. In fact, I'm going to try to think here. We'll run through this. Guys like to see the loot, and who knows, maybe there'll be some crazy loot with the mod you got running. We're going to just give you all these troops here. I'll let you figure out what you want to do with that. I think Henry is still mercenary here. So, anyways, we'll give you all these prisoners here, Henry. I don't want to mess with your save game too much. We'll send this back to you. You just capture everybody, right? Bonchug is captured. Everybody's captured. A bunch more loot. A bunch of influence if you're still in the mercenary stage. No matter what, it's like jackpot for you. In fact, what's this shit? Monchug here is outside. Let's take him prisoner. It's close enough that I'm tempted to fight this battle, but I don't really want to waste your guys' time with just a small battle here. With the power bar favoring us, it would just be a smashing anyways. So, as long as the auto-resolve doesn't shit the bed here, now we can just speed this up and take this guy prisoner. And we will get on to the second fight. Now, I'm curious, right? With this strong custom army, can Henry win this battle, right? We'll do a little bit of analysis. I recognize it might just be me and Henry watching this second battle, right? A lot of you guys don't give a shit, but I am curious, how much Henry's army helped here, right? How much was it just a custom army? Is it because he has these elite custom troops, or is it just that the AI is not going to fight as well as us, right? So I'll make a save game for you, Henry, and we'll load that battle up here in a moment. I will start my narration right about here is good enough. We don't need to include the setup to that. You just need to know that virtually the same battle is occurring here, and we're going to do a tiny bit of fighting here, but mostly we're just going to observe, right? We'll tell the sergeants, you're in charge, do your dipshittery, and we will observe. Now, the lighting isn't great. It's kind of early morning here, but I think that this will still function. You can see what's going on. So the AI does have archers kind of back, right? And we're going to keep an eye on the kill ratio here. It has a bunch of archers positioned well, but again, it's trying to take advantage of these walls with their archers. That just doesn't work, though. Even if you have cons guards, you guys get smoked, right? Let's watch this guy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 arrows he gets hit in like 2 seconds. And that's why, right? The enemy has, what is that? Conservatively, I would say that's 100, maybe 150 archers. There's fiend champs in there. You guys just can't be on the walls, right? I know everybody watching this knows that. But there's probably one guy watching this that's like, well, I don't understand. I can't put my guys on the walls. It's not working. The bottom line is that it just doesn't work in Bannerlord. They don't take cover. They sort of, jostle back and forth like they're having a seizure. But, like a player, if they were being played by players, they would be lethal. They would take a shot in that millisecond where they poke their head out, and you would get shot, and the walls would be highly defendable. In Bannerlord, it doesn't work. Now, neither does this, right? The AI has prioritized the walls, and instead, what is that, 25, 30 troops at the gate with King Henry in there on his horse? That's not going to work, right? The AI is now loose in the courtyard, rampaging, and they barely have a 2-to-1 kill ratio so far, right? That's not a good thing at all. Now, the walls are pretty secure, right? The AI is rampaging on the enemy as they come up the siege ladders. The archers are doing their thing. The fire catapults are still shooting, and they've regained the gate, right? The allies here, Henry's side has regained the gate. They got a big Zerg there, but I still don't think it's going to work. A couple things are going to occur here, I think, that are going to be problematic that you usually see in the situation. First, it seems good, right? It seems like we're smoking the enemy. The death spam's pretty good. Like, hey, we're winning here, right? And this is like an optical illusion because the death happens in waves and you may not notice it, but we got a lot of weak troops in here. Our allies have already suffered, a couple hundred losses, 150, a couple hundred losses. And that means instead of having elite troops, 200 losses, and we've barely killed 500. That means instead of having a bunch of elite troops now out here in battle, our 250 troops includes a lot of scrubs, right? In fact, right in front of me here, that's a recruit. Some guy who just got out of the tavern, drank a 40, crumpled his paper bag up and chucked it on the curb, and now here he is in battle. That's not going to work very well, right? Now the gate is the biggest problem, right? The enemy is surging in the gate. And I think even if we fight here, it won't matter. We're getting blown up now on this side over here. And you can be as heroic as you want here, right? I can bob and weave and be a badass commander here. If you defend the gate like this, eventually exactly that. You get laid on your back, and this siege is over. As soon as the enemy blasts through the gate like that, you suffer. Your first line troops get massacred. This siege is over. They're desperately trying to recover the gate there. They're sort of slamming into it with their last 30 recruits. But, you know, defeat. And it's just, and they didn't even get close, right? The enemy has 2,000 troops here, and it looks like we killed about a third of it. So this is, you know, the guys who are still out there trying to defend the walls or not coming to the channel. Bannerlord looks incredibly difficult. I mean, what a contrast, right? The first battle is literally a snoozer where we can experiment and try different things with our tactics and the AI. You flip the control to the AI here, and they don't just lose; they get obliterated. It looks like a hopeless situation, right? You're in prison. Yeah. It's dramatic difference, right? So, all right, Mr. Henry, thanks again for submitting this. If you guys want to see your saved games on the channel, send it to the email in the video description. Please subscribe if you want to see more. Hit that like button on the way out, and I will see you, friends, next time.